People join Mormonism for a wide variety of reasons, and they leave for many different reasons as well, but leaving is always difficult no matter what the motive might be. Let's talk about membership trends in Mormonism. The LDS Church has roughly 16 million members at present. They've doubled in the past 25 years. Now that's worldwide. It's about half of that is in America. The LDS Church grows in two ways: by birth of children and by baptizing converts. And so about 30% of the members of the LDS Church are converts. Out of those, about 4 in 10 came from a Protestant background, about 4 in 10 came from a Catholic background, and about a quarter of them, just under a quarter of them, had no prior religious affiliation. Now, it's interesting that the growth rate has decreased considerably from about 5% a year in the late 1980s to 2017, the number was about 1.5%, the growth rate. Let's talk about why people join the Mormon Church. People join LDS Church for just a myriad of different reasons. Many of them have had a testimony experience, a heartwarming experience that validated for them the truth of Mormonism while they were studying, maybe studying with the missionaries. For some, Mormonism provides satisfying answers about the meaning of life. For some, they like the emphasis on righteousness and achievement and appeals to something in their personality. Other people like the idea that almost everybody goes to some form of heaven, or that there's a second chance for salvation after this life is over. Many people find that the LDS Church makes God comprehensible to them, by contrast to, say, the traditional view of the Trinity. For others, emotional reasons play a role. And of course, you know that people can have many of these factors at play in their decision to join the Mormon Church. But the emotional reasons might be this idea that families can be forever. That's very appealing. Or that a dead loved one has an opportunity for salvation after this life is over. That's very appealing emotionally. Some people find security in the structure and authority of Mormonism. Some people encounter the LDS Church when they're on a spiritual search and they're looking to fill a void in their hearts. And lo and behold, there they meet the LDS missionaries. Or others find a welcoming, supportive community when they're going through tough times emotionally. For some, the LDS Church is seen by them as a safe haven from the evils of society for troubled families. Some people join for relational reasons. Young people growing up, when LDS Church is the majority, they will join to fit in and to be accepted by the crowd. Some people will join because of a romantic relationship with a Mormon person. And some join during a time of material need when the church steps up to provide financial and practical assistance to their family. But the fact is that most people are Mormons because they were raised in the Mormon Church. Officially, they were baptized as a member of the church when they were 8 years old. And the majority stay in the church, even though they might go through periods of increased or decreased activity. So 70% of Mormons were raised in the Mormon Church. Now, regardless of why people join, Mormonism provides a positive, loving, caring community. It gives people a sense that they're building something significant in this life and in the life to come. And yet, in spite of the positive elements of LDS life, people are leaving Mormonism in unprecedented numbers. Let's talk about why people leave. For one thing, the church doesn't seem to have found an effective way to connect new members to the LDS community or to build a sense of LDS identity among converts, because up to 50% of converts drop out within the first year, at least in the United States. And when it comes to the lifelong members, Mormonism has a retention rate of about 2/3. So of every 3 kids raised as LDS, 2 of them remain as adults. That's a pretty good rate among all the different religious groups. That's a pretty solid rate. But of those who do leave, about 1/3 of them find a home in a new religion. So 1/3 of Mormons are leaving. 1/3 of those are finding a home in a new faith. About half of the ones who find a new faith home end up in a Protestant church of some kind, and others in Catholic and other expressions. And it's interesting that in Utah, people who are leaving Mormonism are even less likely to reaffiliate with another faith than people who are leaving Mormonism elsewhere in the United States. That's a very interesting conversation to be had about why that might be the case. Now, there's a lot of factors that contribute to LDS deconversion. Some don't like to live that demanding LDS lifestyle, maybe burned out by that. Others are tired of the stress of living up to high expectations, the pressure to be worthy, the constant pressure on time and money and busyness. A lot of people are discovering unsavory episodes in the church's history, things that have been swept under the rug, that cast a negative light on LDS prophets or contradict official church accounts. Converts often uncover information that they didn't know when they were baptized, things that they learned later that are unsavory, like temple practices or the idea of becoming gods, things that might have been unsettling for them. And typically in LDS culture, honest questions go unanswered, discouragement sets in, people are told not to question their faith. Now, a lot of people are leaving because they come to believe then that these LDS truth claims can't stand up to rational or intellectual scrutiny. And related to that, others decide that Mormonism doesn't compare favorably to the Bible. And so they reject Mormonism in favor of the Bible. And more what we see happening, a large percentage of people leaving Mormonism in our generation now is a response to how conservative the LDS Church is on social issues. And so a lot of people believe the church should be less patriarchal and make more room for feminism. A lot of people believe the church should make more room for LGBT concerns and for be more affirming about gay marriage and things like that. So they're leaving the church on those bases. And some leave the LDS Church because it just seems like big business to them. Others find the church to be too monolithically white and American. Many leave because they never fit in culturally or they're poorly treated at some point, and so they don't ever come back. And as many people join Mormonism because they've had a warm spiritual experience that confirms the faith to them, some also leave because of an experience, maybe had a dream or a spiritual feeling that caused them to doubt the church. Now, I want to talk for a moment about why some stay. Because as we saw in a previous segment, some Mormons reject the claims and the teachings of the LDS Church, but choose to stay in the church as closet doubters. They no longer believe, but maybe continue to attend the meetings and fulfill callings even. And disaffected Mormons stay in the church for various reasons. One is marriage. They don't want to break up their marriage. They want to have a stable family life. And that often happens when people leave, that the family falls apart. Some stay because of their family history or their traditions. For some, job security is an issue, especially in Utah, because the LDS Church employs thousands of people. And even if you don't work for the church, your boss, your company, your coworkers all might be LDS. Many simply have no idea where to go or what they would do if they left the Mormon church. Some stay in because they hope to influence the church in positive ways. Others see the church as a safe place with good values and a community to raise their kids. And so they appreciate some, if not all, aspects of Mormon life and teaching. But for those raised LDS, leaving Mormonism is hard no matter what the reason they leave. Leaving is difficult. They're going against the tide of deep cultural roots, of a strongly rooted identity. When a person rejects the authority and the truth claims of Mormonism, they're considered apostate. That's a very negative label. The LDS are taught to fear apostasy, warned that if they leave the church, then they're abandoning the safe umbrella of priesthood authority and priesthood care. In LDS curriculum, people are taught that you leave the church only out of pride or sin or pettiness or because you're deceived by Satan. There's no positive reason ever to leave the LDS church. And so when people finally do leave, they do so at a cost. In fact, a former Mormon may suffer a sense of anguish over this loss of their sense of identity and their place in the world. Family life and personal relationships might be disrupted. Those who leave are often stereotyped and slandered. And so for those reasons, a doubting Mormon may go through an agonizing transition period that's perhaps years long, marked by insecurity, alienation, anger, confusion, before they ultimately accept the decision to leave the church or become public about their feelings. Now, this journey of those who do leave is treated more fully in another one of our modules called Enfolding Former Mormons.